use any size that's convenient for you. We just use this because it sort of fits the television screen. The bottom of it I have covered with a little bit of black gesso. And you can put it on with a sponge or a foam brush or just a paper towel, it doesn't matter, anything to cover it, and then let that dry.
I don't have any black paint.
What?
I don't have any black paint.
Color down here on the bottom of this, and today I've used a little sap green and Van Dyke brown mixed together, and it's still wet. The black gesso has dried, but the transparent color on top here is still wet. Okay, and then the top we've just covered with a little bit of liquid white, and it just makes the canvas nice and wet and slick, and it allows us to actually...
I'm trying to get it around.
Green and Van Dyke brown mixed together.
What's a Van Dyke brown?
I have no idea. I've got brown. I've got burnt umber
Yeah, same.
or burnt sienna. And what green was it? Sap green. Sap green.
Is that green?
I have light green.
I have sap green. Okay, here we go. It's this color.
Oh wow, okay. I don't have that.
It's a very tree green. It's quite dark. Darker than a cabbage.
How much do we need?
The black gesso has dried, but the transparent color on top here is still wet. Okay, and then the top we've just covered with a little bit of liquid white, and it just makes the canvas nice and wet and slick, and it allows us to actually blend color on the canvas rather than working ourselves to death on the palette. So I tell you what, let's just take off and have some fun today. Let's start with this little 2-inch brush here.
So on the top we're going to use some liquid white to allow the colours to blend, and we're going to have some fun today.
Okay.
So I'm going to just cover the top with white paint. I don't have any liquid white. No, my white dribbled on my black.
Okay, I don't have any more white paints. The closest I can find is porcelain flesh
Oh, this is nice.
and rotting flesh, which is like a grey.
Okay, well that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's a super fine.
And it's easy to add more color, but it's a son of a gun to take it away. So start with a little bit of color, and you can always add more if you need it. We'll go right up to the top of the canvas, and we'll just do some little X's, little crisscross strokes, and we'll work all the way across the top. Now the color is continually mixing with the liquid white, and it creates all those beautiful variations that we want. Let me put a little more color on the brush here. There we go. Let's start at the top and work down. And that way, our sky will get progressively lighter toward the horizon. And that's exactly what we're looking for. In a landscape, you want things to get lighter toward the horizon and darker as they can come away from the horizon. So by using the liquid white and allowing the color to blend.
He said, take a blue, I don't know what type of blue he said, and you need to gradually start adding it to the white area, mixing it with the liquid white. But don't add too much, because taking it away is a son of a gun and you can easily add more.
Okay.
You should start at the top and work your way down in little crisscrosses.
Can you say darker towards the horizon or top?
Dark at the top, lighter towards the horizon. So start painting with your blue at the top, crisscross it down towards the horizon so it'll be lighter at the bottom.
Oh, never mind. Cool. It's starting to look really funky, but I like it.
A knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can go to the kitchen and get a knife.
What we're going to do is we're going to cut across with a little roll of paint on the edge of your knife.
Okay.
What are we cutting across?
I don't know.
I'm like, am I mixing this with a knife?
Yeah?
My paint's like really, really thin.
Yeah. I don't have a roll of paint. I have a run of paint.
Yeah, same.
A little roll of paint, and that little roll of paint should live right on the edge of your knife, right on the edge of the blade. Now then, we have to make our first major decision in this painting. Where does our mountain live? And I think in my world, it's going to live maybe right there. It is now anyway. But all we're doing here is just pushing that color right into the fabric, right into the canvas.
So he said, we're going to make a decision. Where does your mountain live? In my world, the mountain lives right there. So all he said was, with a big brush, we're going to pull this down. And it blends with the liquid white and gets lighter and lighter in value.
Oh. Mine's very dark.
Gonna pull it down.
The mountain?
I've just built a mountain. Why would I want to pull it down?
Start again, put it down.
No, it looks like bloody Diglets popped out of the hole.
Oh, God.
With paint again, so it's right on the edge of the knife. And let's go
Not
up
the
in
knife
here.
again.
Oh, no pressure, no pressure. Touch. And let that knife just float. Let it float, let it float. Right down the side of the mountain. Think about
I mixed far too much of this colour just for floating down a mountain.
This is so gross.
Yeah, mine too.
I really can't paint with knives.
No, not me. I mean, I was doing all right with the brush, but then he bloody put a knife into the mix.
So he added shadows and he added highlights to his mountain. And then he tapped the bottom of the mountain with a dry brush to give the illusion of mist.
I thought he said, what did he say about trees?
Just that he wasn't actually talking about doing any. He was just talking about you've got the power to move mountains and trees if you want to.
Aww.
Oh, I've dry brushed my bottom.
All right, now maybe we'll get a little crazy today. I like to do that. We'll use that little mountain color. And we'll go right into some yellow. We've got a little cad yellow here, a little yellow ochre. We'll just use the same old 2-inch brush. Doesn't matter, maybe a little touch of the sap green here and there. Maybe in our world, there lives some little trees that sort of go right up the side of this mountain. And to do that, all you have to do is take the big brush and tap. But most important here, we need to follow these angles. Need to follow these angles. If you don't, it just absolutely won't look right. Vary the colors between darker green and lighter green, back and forth a little.
Then take your mountain colour, add a bunch of yellows, and with your big brush, tap up the side of the mountain to add trees.
Oh. Oh wow. Okay.
If I tap my mountain with a big brush, I'm going to definitely have blobs of yellow.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Depends on where you live. Maybe in your world, you don't want a mountain. Then you can paint this scene and it would be very beautiful without a mountain. It's up to you. It's really up to you. God was having a good day when he made Alaska. It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. There we go. But these kind of sites are pretty common there. Now we'll take a clean, dry 1-inch brush and very lightly, little short strokes. I want to grab that and lift upward. Just lift it upward.
So it's meant to look like Alaska then, eh?
Possibly.
Whatever your world looks like, it's fine.
Okay.
And you just sort of work back and forth here. But gently lifting upward. Always going upward. Think about the little trees. Even though they're going at an angle here, they would still grow straight up. So keep these lines going straight up. Sometimes the tendency, the mountain goes this way to make your trees like that. And it'll look like the big giant sneezed or something and blew them all over.
A small brush lifting upward.
Lifting upward where?
Dunno.
I mean, it's not looking completely dreadful, I guess, but I mean, it's pretty dreadful, but not completely dreadful.
That's what I'm using.
Yeah,
That's enough. It's a brush.
We'll load the fan brush full of this dark color, both sides, a lot of color. Let's go right up in here. Maybe in our world there's a little foothill that lives right here. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little bit of white to that. I'm going to lighten it just a little. Oh, that's much better. I'm going to a little bit lighter. There. There's some little footy hills that live right here. Some evergreen trees are growing on it, and they're much closer to us.
I don't know what he's doing with this loaded fan brush, but now he's adding white to make some little footy hills.
What?
I'm gonna go right in
Let's go right up here. Maybe there lives a happy little evergreen tree right there. We just use the corner of the brush. Just go back and forth. See there? That easy. And let's give him a few friends.
With the fan brush?
My gosh.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
No.
with the fan brush of the dark colour, you're using the corner of the brush to put in some evergreens. Wherever.
You make this evergreen.
And these friends is on about, are they trees too?
Yeah.
We don't want him to get lonely back here. My gosh, with a scene like he's got to look at here, he'd have to
Oh,
invite all
I've
his
got a
friends
wobbly
over to
tree,
see it
Stella.
too. This is just too nice for him to.
No, I've just got little weird brown blob things everywhere.
Make a decision. Maybe our big tree, we're going to have one that's going to live right there. And we start out by just making a little line. That sort of gives you a guide. Take just the end of the brush. Now this is going to be one of them big evergreen trees that sort of saggy. The limbs hang over. I like this brush.
It's a big, saggy evergreen whose limbs just kind of hang over.
For making these kind of trees. See how the limbs hang though? I like that. But you can do this with a 1-inch brush and have straight limbs. You can do it with a fan brush. I use a fan brush very often. Or you can do it with a 2-inch brush. It all works very well. But if you want these hangy down looking limbs like this, I find it much better to use this oval brush.
I don't even know what an oval brush.
You have to make a big decision. Where's your water? I want some water in here.
Oh dear.
Touch this and pull it straight down.
You shouldn't have done those
Pull it
trees
down
down the
straight
bottom.
down.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Van Dyke.
He's talking about a transparent colour that he has there, which is Van Dyke brown and sap green. And I don't know why it's a transparent colour, but apparently it is. He just said, we have this here. And then he put that aside and he said, we're going to take some titanium white and a 2-inch brush and we're going to just make a decision and we're going to put some water out there. I don't know what he's doing with the sap green and the brown, but apparently he's going to go in with a big brush and just freaking dab white paint on it now to make water.
Like, it's like the dirtiest water ever.
Apparently.
It's just muddy puddles.
Yeah.
So,
Now they'll make some beautiful, beautiful colors. And it's fun to prepare this canvas when nobody's looking. And when you do this, especially if you're painting for someone, they think it's magic. Now we go straight across, and that'll create the illusion of water.
I bet his water's going to be like really blue and whimsical.
We about have a finished painting. I think we'll call that one done. But this is a good example of how easy this technique is, so I look forward to seeing you in the next show. And until then, happy painting. It looked like the big giant sneezed or something and blew them all over.
really funky, but I like it.
No, it looks like bloody Diglets popped out of the hole.
Liquid white to allow the colours to blend, and we're going to have some fun today.
Okay.